Welcome to the digital classes of St. Joseph's English Medium School, Vijaypur. Hello students. Our 7th chapter, Weather, Climate and Adaptation of Animals to Climate. When the sky is cloudy, your parents insist that you carry an umbrella. Have you heard elders in your family discuss the weather before planning a family function? You must have also heard the experts discussing the weather before the start of a game. Have you ever wondered why? Many of our daily activities are planned based on the weather predicted for that day. There are daily reports of the weather on the television and radio and in the newspaper. A sample of weather report from a newspaper is given. We find that the daily weather report carries information about the temperature, humidity and rainfall during the past 24 hours. It also predicts the weather for the day. Humidity, as you might know, is a measure of moisture in air. Activity 7.1. Cut out the weather reports of the last week from any newspaper. Paste all the cutouts on a white sheet or on a chart paper. Now record the information from the weather report collected by you in the table. The first row is just a sample. Fill all the columns according to the data in the chart that you have prepared. The maximum and minimum temperatures recorded may be the same for some of the days. However, all the parameters are not the same on any 2 days. Over a week, there may be considerable variations. The day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. is the weather at that place. The temperature, humidity and other factors are called the elements of the weather. The weather reports are prepared by the Meteorological Department of the government. This department collects data on temperature, wind, etc. and makes the weather predictions. Rainfall is measured by an instrument called the rain gauge. It is basically a measuring cylinder with a funnel on top to collect rainwater. Do all the 7 days have the same maximum and minimum temperatures, humidity and rainfall? The weather of a place changes day after day and week after week. That is why we often say today's weather is too humid or the weather was warm last week. The weather is such a complex phenomenon that it can vary over a very short period of time. It can happen sometimes that it is sunny in the morning but suddenly cloud appear from nowhere and it starts raining heavily, or a heavy rain may vanish in a matter of minutes and give way to bright sunshine. Look at the graph, which shows the maximum temperature recorded during 3rd August 2006 to 9 August 2006 at Shillong, Meghalaya. As it is clear from any weather report, the maximum and minimum temperatures are recorded every day. Do you know how these temperatures are recorded? There are special thermometers for this purpose called maximum and minimum thermometers. The maximum temperature of the day occurs generally in the afternoon, while the minimum temperature occurs generally in early morning. All changes in the weather are caused by the sun. The sun is a huge sphere of hot gases at a very high temperature. The distance of the sun from us is very large. Even then, the energy sent out by the sun is so huge that it is the source of all heat and light on the earth. So, the sun is the primary source of energy that cause changes in the weather. Energy absorbed and reflected by the Earth's surface, ocean and the atmosphere play important role in determining the weather at any place. If you live near the sea, you would have realized that the weather at your place is different from that of a place in a desert or near mountain. Climate. Meteorologists record the weather every day. The records of the weather have been preserved for the past several decades. These help us to determine the weather pattern at a place. The average weather pattern taken over a long time, say 25 years, is the climate of the place. If we find that the temperature at a place is high most of the time, then we say that the climate of that place is hot. If there is also heavy rainfall on most of the days in the same place, then we can say that the climate of that place is hot and wet. In table, they have given the climatic condition at two places in India. The two places are Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir and Tiruvananthapuram in Kerala. The mean temperature for a given month is found in two steps. First, we find the average of the temperatures recorded during the month. Second, we calculate the average of such average temperature over many years. That gives the mean temperature. By looking at tables, we can easily see the difference in the climate of Jammu and Kashmir and Kerala. We can see that Kerala is very hot and wet in comparison to Jammu and Kashmir, which has a moderate hot and wet climate for a part of the year. Similar data for the western region of India, for example Rajasthan, will show that the temperature is high during most part of the year, but during winter, which lasts only for a few months, the temperature is quite low. The region receives very little rainfall. This is the typical desert climate. It is hot and dry. The northeastern India receives rain for a major part of the year. Therefore, we can say that the climate of the northeast is wet. Animals living in cold and hot climate must possess special features to protect themselves against the extreme cold or heat. Here we will study the effect of climate on animals only. As examples of adaptation of animals to climatic conditions, we discuss only animals living in polar regions and tropical rainforests. The polar region. The polar region presents an extreme climate. These regions are covered with snow and it is very cold for most part of the year. For 6 months, the sun does not set at the poles, while for the other 6 months, the sun does not rise. In winters, the temperature can be as low as -37 degrees Celsius. Animals living there have adapted to these severe conditions. Let us see how they are adapted by considering the examples of polar bear and penguin. Polar bears. Polar bears have white fur so that they are not easily visible in the snowy white background. It protects them from their predators. It also helps them in catching their prey. To protect them from extreme cold, they have two thick layers of furs. They also have a layer of fat under their skin. In fact, they are so well insulated that they have to move slowly and rest often to avoid getting overheated. Its paws are wide and large, which help it not only to swim well but also walk with ease in the snow. While swimming underwater, it can close its nostril and can remain underwater for long duration. It has a strong sense of smell so that it can catch its prey for food. Now we can understand the adaptation of polar bear with the help of flowchart. The white fur is not easily visible in the snowy white background. Because of this, its predators and prey are unable to see it. It has two thick layers of fur. These keep it warm in cold weather. Polar bear has a layer of fat under the skin. The fat insulates it from cold and keep it warm. Polar bear has long, curved and sharp claws. These help it to walk on ice. It has a very strong sense of smell. It helps the bear to locate and catch its prey. Penguins. Another well-known animal living in the polar regions is the penguin. It also has a thick skin and a lot of fat to protect it from cold. Like polar bears, penguins are also good swimmers. Their bodies are streamlined and their feet have webs, making them good swimmers. Other animals living in the polar regions are many types of fishes, musk oxen, reindeers, foxes, seals, whales, and birds. Migration of birds. Birds remain warm to survive. They migrate to warmer regions when winter sets in. They come back after the winter is over. You know probably that India is one of the destinations of many of these birds. You must have seen or heard about the Siberian crane that comes from Siberia to places like Bharatpur in Rajasthan and Sultanpur in Haryana, and some wetland of northeast and some other parts of India. The tropical rainforests. The tropical region has generally a hot climate because of its location around the equator. Even in the coldest month, the temperature is generally higher than about 15 degrees Celsius. During hot summers, the temperature may cross 40 degrees Celsius. Days and nights are almost equal in length throughout the year. These regions get plenty of rainfall. An important feature of this region is the tropical rainforests. Tropical rainforests are found in Western Ghats and Assam in India, South Asia, Central America, and Central Africa. Because of continuous warmth and rain, the region supports wide variety of plants and animals. The major types of animals living in the rainforest are monkeys, apes, gorillas, tigers, elephants, leopards, lizards, snakes, birds, and insects. Let us read about the adaptation of these animals to a hot, humid climate. The climatic conditions in rainforest are highly suitable for supporting an enormous number and variety of animals. The tropical rainforests. Since the numbers are large, there is intense competition for food and shelter. Many animals are adapted to living on the trees. Red-eyed frog develops sticky pads on its feet to help it climb trees on which it lives. To help them live on the trees, monkeys have long tails for grasping branches. Their hands and feet are such that they can easily hold on to the branches. Acorn. As there is competition for food, some animals are adopted to get food not easily reachable. A striking example is that of the bird toucan, which possesses a long, large beak. This helps a toucan to reach the fruits on branches which are otherwise too weak to support its weight. Camouflage. Many tropical animals have sensitive hearing, sharp eyesight, thick skin, and skin color which helps them to camouflage by blending with surroundings. This is to protect them from predators. For example, big cats, lions, and tigers have thick skin and sensitive hearing. Lion-tailed macaque. The lion-tailed macaque, also called beard ape, lives in the rainforest of Western Ghats. Its most outstanding feature is the silver-white mane, which surrounds the head from the cheeks down to its chin. It is a good climber and spends a major part of its life on the trees. It feeds mainly on fruits. It also eats seeds, young leaves, stems, flowers, and birds. This weird ape also searches for insects under the barks of the trees. Since it is able to get sufficient food on the trees, it rarely comes down on the ground. Elephant. Another well-known animal of India in tropical rainforest is the elephant. It has adapted to the conditions of rainforest in many remarkable ways. Look at its trunk. It uses it as a nose because of which it has a strong sense of smell. The trunk is also used by it for picking up food. Moreover, its trunks are modified teeth. These can tear the barks of the trees that elephant loves to eat. So the elephant is able to handle the competition for food rather well. Large ears of the elephant help it to hear even very soft sound. They also help the elephant to keep cool in the hot and humid climate of the rainforest. Let us recall what we have learned in this lesson. The day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. is called the weather at that place. The weather is generally not the same on any 2 days and week after week. The maximum temperature of the day occurs generally in the afternoon, while the minimum temperature occurs in the early morning. Time of the sunrise and sunset also changes during the year. All the changes in the weather are driven by the sun. The average weather pattern taken over a long time, say 25 years, is called the climate of the place. The tropical and the polar regions are the two regions of the earth which have severe climatic conditions. The polar regions are very cold throughout the year. The sun does not set for 6 months in a year, and in other 6 months it does not rise. Animals in the polar regions are adapted to extremely cold climate by having some special characteristics such as white fur, strong sense of smell, a layer of fat under the skin, wide and large paws for swimming and walking, etc. Migration is another means to escape the harsh cold conditions. Because of the hospitable climatic conditions, huge populations of plant and animals are found in the tropical rainforests. Animals in the tropical rainforest are adapted such that they eat different kinds of food to overcome the competition for food and shelter. Some adaptation of animals living in the tropical rainforest include living on the trees, development of strong tail, long and large beaks, bright color, sharp pattern, loud voice, diet of fruit, sensitive hearing, sharp eyesight, thick skin, ability to camouflage in order to protect themselves from predators.